Welcome, everyone. It's Career Happy Hour. Every Friday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, I will be here offering support to the community for a lot of different things. And whether that's, how would you say it, an opportunity for us to be connected in community. I would appreciate any questions that you have that you would put those, of course, in the chat for Career Happy Hour. Just waiting folks to come on live so that we can see here how many folks we have joining. Good. Hello, Craig. Good to see you. Yes, Craig has taken the initiative here, and I thank you, Craig, for that. That you're taking an opportunity to let us know that you're open to networking. By doing so, you would put your LinkedIn profile in the chat. Now, yes, there's many people that come to these sessions and don't like to see or don't like to distribute their content and have everybody see that they came to Career Happy Hour. I don't know why, but it does happen. I would be interested to know if you can hear me in the chat. That would be great. Just some confirmation that you can hear me. That would be awesome. And I have a couple things to think about today. New perspectives, different ways of looking at things, especially for some of us that are maybe wrestling with these thoughts or ideas around networking. For those who don't know me, I'm Andrew Beach. I'm a teacher of self-education. I help professionals like you communicate their value to find great opportunities faster, whether you're working or not. That's through a pragmatic process of personal branding, planning, and effective networking. That's what we focus on here. And today is happy hour, Career Happy Hour, 3 p.m. Pacific time every week. We will be here providing you support. So put your questions in the chat. I would like to see those. Be happy to see your questions. I'm trying up some new things here on the restream just to kind of spice up the interactions a little bit. Try putting the chat in the stream to see so that everybody can see it. And so I can see it, and I don't have to flip tabs over and see different sections in my dashboard here. So I'm trying new things. There is a link if you would like to come on live and you would like to get some hands-on support by me for your specific need. I'd really encourage you to click the link in the description. If it's on LinkedIn, it probably has some LNKD dot something or other. It has a different link there, but it's in the description. It says join now live. I can also put that in the chat, but that's problematic. I think it might also shorten the link there as well. But let me see what I can discern when I go to the stream and see how many people. We got 7 people in here now. This is good. Okay, excellent. Good to see you, Leif. Good to have you here, Chris, Craig. I mean, let me see if I can get the link here. Invite guests. There we go. And I'll put that in the chat on LinkedIn, and then I'll also put it in the restream here. So if you, it doesn't matter where you're joining from. Some of you might be joining from LinkedIn. That's great. That's the primary. But we are also on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope for anybody who would like to join. I'd really encourage you to take a moment and really have an opportunity to share. Regardless of what platform you're on, there is an opportunity to share this broadcast. I come here every week. I'm willing to open up and make time available for you. All I ask is that you spread the word about Career Happy Hour that happens every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time, to provide you support, some ideas, some thoughts, some things going on here. Good. Welcome, Terry. Good to see you. Kevin, good to see you as well. We have a crew here today. Share this broadcast out with your networks, please. And if you want to come on live, there is a link in the description. Here's something that's top of mind for me this week, and it's primarily because so far this year, we have had 2, or will have had 2 as of next week, what I would refer to as obscure holidays. Why do I call them obscure holidays? Well, there's many people, the company that I'm affiliated with included. I won't mention that name because I'm not serving here at their, I'm serving myself today. So everything I share, all the ideas are my own. They're not the opinions or perspectives of people I'm affiliated with. But the idea here is that we have an obscure holiday on Monday. It's called President's Day. Here's the other thing. Some people have it off. Some people don't. Some people have activities planned for that, some don't. Generally speaking, what I found, and I learned this in the past in sales, is that generally speaking, a lot of people are available on these obscure holidays because they have the time off, but they don't do anything with it. You know, stay home or a staycation, or don't really plan anything. You have the pandemic, but the idea is on obscure holidays like MLK. I'm not calling these obscure because they're not valid or not important. I'm calling them obscure because people might have time off and they might have an opportunity to connect with you. Isn't that the whole point? Isn't the point to actually connect with people? So if it were me and I found out that, hey, I don't know about you, but sometimes I run into this situation where, hey, I just realized it's President's Day and the kids don't have school. Now I have to take time off for work. This stuff happens all the time in real life. And so we don't plan to go anywhere. It's President's Day. I don't think I've had to be honest with you, I don't think I've had a paid holiday for 20 years because I've been self-employed for most of that time. But no paid holidays and you're self-employed. But the idea is I'm working on holidays because guess what? Other people are not. And so what does that tell you? We talked earlier, about fundamentals and the fundamentals of job search and when should you be networking and why should you be networking and the 180-degree rule. Remember, do the exact opposite of what everybody else is doing. Well, if everybody has a day off and they're not doing anything, what should you do as a job-seeking professional? It may be one day where people are home and you have a chance to have a conversation with them where they don't have work to be done or deadlines to meet or anything of that nature. We're at the front end of a month. I mean, it couldn't have been maybe a better setup on February 8th to have a President's Day. Okay. We had an MLK Day and some people celebrate that and some people get it off. Others don't. But the idea here is that we have an opportunity to network on a day when other people will not be networking. And that was never more clear to me when I was in real estate. I was selling real estate and one of the coaches I had said, the one day that you never take off is New Year's Day. And I was like, that's the most insane. I mean, I didn't understand what that meant until I took a New Year's Day and actually did what he said. And what I found out was New Year's Day is when you have the highest number of expired listings. You also have the highest percentage of people actually at home, and you have a captive audience because how many realtors, just generally speaking, do you think actually work New Year's Day? And I said, well, doesn't everybody takes a day off, don't they? No, not you, right? Anyhow, so I got up at, and this is a little over the top, but yes, I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I pulled down all of the expired listings, and generally there's probably several hundred expired listings. And he said, pick out the handful of ones that you think are closest to you, that have high value, they're good locations, maybe the pricing was off, and go hand deliver a package to those folks on New Year's morning. So now I'm going to this extreme just to prove a point. And that is, if you believe in something enough to make it real for yourself, you'll probably do whatever it takes to make it happen. So I guess the question for you is, what is worthy of your pursuit to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day to go do something like that? Or, for example, maybe it's actually just saying, okay, President's Day. What can I do President's Day, maybe for a defined period of time, even though it's a vacation day or a holiday for some people? Maybe for me as a job seeker, this is a chance to double down on my networking. And here it is, 3 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. What do you think most people are planning? Hey, I got a 3-day weekend. I don't know what I'm going to do. Maybe I'll just hang around the house, do some projects, get ready for a garage sale. I don't know. They're thinking through different things. But what they're not thinking about is what they're going to do on Monday. So there may be an opportunity there for you to get together, have a virtual coffee chat, or do things from that perspective. So good. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm not just here to ramble on and talk about my experiences or what you should be doing in your search. I'd really like to provide some tangible feedback from direct questions that you have. And across this community, we're here to support each other. So if that's you, put your LinkedIn profile in the chat, the link to your LinkedIn profile, and that's you signaling to this community, which is here to support each other. It's hard enough in job search sometimes to know somebody to talk to. And once you do, to reach out to somebody you don't know is kind of uncomfortable. But that's not what that's not what this community is about. This community is about supporting each other and saying yes when people ask. So I'm hoping that you're okay with that and that you're on board with that, doing that kind of thing. Good. If you have any questions, put those in the chat. Happy to answer. We got some chats coming in. People are putting in their LinkedIn profiles. That's great. But if you want to come on too, there's always the opportunity to click the link in the description and come on live. So as you're looking at your calendar, you might look down through some of these obscure, I call them obscure, but these off of normal holidays. And I could name them. There's like MLK Day, President's Day, Veterans Day. All these are valid holidays, don't get me wrong, but there's times at which people will have these holidays, they'll be paid for them, and they don't really, they're more accessible. And so as you lead into some of these obscure holidays, you might want to see if you can stack some of your network meetings on that one day that they maybe had forgotten was a day off for many people and a paid holiday from their employer, and think about a day to do that. Even if you're working, even if we're working, here's the situation. If you're working at the company that you were looking for advancement in, you're looking for a promotion, isn't the same true? Is that, hey, everybody in the company has that day off for whatever reason, or in summers we're work from home on Fridays. That happens a lot too. And between Christmas and those 2 weeks, Christmas, New Year's, etc., a lot of places just go dark during those times. Isn't that a great day to say, hey, you and we're going dark. I don't plan to go anywhere. Do you? No, not until maybe closer to New Year's. But yeah, I've got time if you want to have a coffee or do some sort of thing like that. What I find is that's a target-rich environment. What does that mean? You condense a lot of valuable networking into a single time period where you get high return on investment. Okay. And so think about it from that perspective. Any questions out there? Put them in the chat, please. I'm happy to answer. I don't want this just me talking about topics that are top of mind. Although I've got plenty of topics that are top of mind. I guess I could open my OneNote. I've been kind of keeping notes as I go along in this process. And so some of the titles, let me see if I can find them here. Yeah, I don't have them right in front of me. Anyway, there was another one I was thinking about, and that was this idea this last week that some people just aren't as familiar with how to navigate LinkedIn and how to do a detailed search to find the right people. And there is some nuance to that. And even though I went through the process and I understood it, I still have tested and modified some of my search parameters to make sure that I get the results that I need when I'm looking for people or companies. And so part of that is understanding that component. I thought there was something else new that came out from LinkedIn. Let me go to their homepage because I think they had something on there that I found interesting. Oh, I guess, so top of the news, I guess, there's some news at Amazon that Bezos is stepping down as CEO, and I'm not sure that's a big deal or even a surprise to anybody. If it is, let me know in the chat your perspectives on that. Also, J&J, they have their vaccine out. And so I find it interesting that there's people getting approached by industries in play, right? So industries in play right now are what? Well, there's people that are maybe coming out of hospitality or technology or retail, right? Where they have a good set of skills, but that industry just isn't doing so well during the pandemic. And then they're getting outreach and they're getting surprised by companies in, say, pharma or vaccines, and they're trying to deliver solutions that way. So think outside the box, really. If you're looking at your expertise, which are the industries in play, like home delivery, like sanitation or creating, sanitized environments, whether that's HVAC or hand sanitizer or things of that nature. There's things that are going to have to be done there, PPE. I mean, we're just thinking through a lot of the things that we probably are aware are true for us, but we haven't really looked at the companies behind those ideas or those thoughts or those trends in the marketplace. Okay. So again, if you have any questions, put those in the chat. I'm happy to answer. We're here every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time. I'm looking for tangible questions. So I did actually, it's funny. I just got a question about headlines, and are those important? Now, I didn't realize until recently that some of the truncation of LinkedIn's headlines is different when you're looking at search results on mobile. So let me just pull up and do a search and see if this really is true, because I heard there was a truncation of the headline. Yeah, and it is true. So generally speaking, if we're talking about best practices, if some of you know what the headline is, it's that on LinkedIn, if you see your name and it says first degree, something or other, and then it says number of connections and so forth, below that is something called your headline. And that's something that follows you all over LinkedIn. And I just looked up, and it appears that about a third, actually a quarter of my headline is truncated on the mobile device. Okay, so keep in mind that yes, it's important to have, because LinkedIn will give you, I think, 220 characters for the headline. They've expanded it almost double. But on different platforms, it'll be truncated. So what do I advocate? I always advocate going with the target title first. And so as long as you're, let's say, 51% qualified for that opportunity, for that position, then yes, I would say, hey, I would, for me, executive coach. Why? Because that's kind of the title. That's what a lot of people are expecting to see when they put me in a box. Now, it doesn't mean I have to leave my box sitting there. I can open up the box and my headline continues on and people can read my about section. But if they're in search of an executive coach, they're going to find me. Okay. And so I always advocate putting a title or a domain first. Executive coaching professional, leadership development leader, or what is it? Human resources leader or human resources executive is fine. So a domain, I would put that. So I'm seeing a human resources business partner. That would be good. Let me see another one here. Sales manager, VP of community technology, right? Director of HR. So I'm really looking for title first. You can put keywords, you can put brand at the end of that section, okay? Because here's the thing. Until people get to your profile, they're not going to see your value. Let me say that again. Until people get to your profile, they are not going to see your value. All they see is a picture, they see your name, and they see a headline. They don't see anything else. I think, they might see what location and that sort of thing, and degree of connection, but that's not valuable information. What you're trying to do is get them to click on your profile so that they can look at it. Okay. And they're not going to see your value until they do that. So there is some, I guess, credence, you could say, to profile views. However, I'm not expecting that to do anything for me. I'm not expecting that somebody that's viewed my profile is going to click a add to cart button and check out with a credit card, because it doesn't exist yet on LinkedIn. But I could see that that is possible. That is the trend that they're following, is that there will be a, how would you call it? An ecosystem here in exchange, a marketplace for talent, whether that's freelance, whether that's direct hire, whether that's contract, or what have you. They're creating an ecosystem in exchange for talent. That's their objective. So if you were to look at the mission, vision, values, strategy of LinkedIn, it's to own the talent space, period. They want to own all of it. They want to own the hiring. They want to own the developing. Why do they have LinkedIn Learning? They want to own the talent space, period. So if you look at it from that perspective, you can say, okay, I know their motivation. I know they offer premium services, and often those premium services come in free of charge, and then they pull them back behind a paywall once they find out that that service is valuable. They did that with LinkedIn Profinder. They pulled resume behind the paywall and said, hey, if you want to correct resumes for our user base, we'll pay you $40 a resume, but we'll bill out 100, 150. That's how they do it. They've now engaged a contingent workforce through their program called Profinder. And I could see that expanding. I could see that absolutely. And that the same is true of talent. They have LinkedIn Recruiter, yes, but they're also integrating with every ATS known to man. So what are they saying? They're trying to climb up that ladder to not just take over talent, but leadership, training, organizational development, analysis, data, in IT services. Right? There's no lack of integration with Microsoft tools and taking over that space. Anyhow, I know I'm talking around a bunch of different topics, but the idea here is I'm expecting you to put some questions in the chat so that I can answer them. Okay. Finally, Kevin comes with a question. Thank you, Kevin. To get out of the daily job search headbanging, what are your thoughts on these motivation type people, i.e. Brendan Burchard, Tony Robbins, to change and encourage getting out of a rut? So a rut, fortunately, is a grave with the ends knocked out. So the key is just don't stay in the rut. And that may be sounding simplistic, but yes, I can agree that a lot of what happens in job search is a lot like commission sales. And some of you are totally averse to that. Well, guess what? That's your job right now. Your job is commission only sales. You only get paid when you make a sale, and a sale is a job offer and acceptance and starting work. That is a sale. Now, what are the things that lead up to a sale? Well, there's an interview, right? There's some networking. There might be an application resume. There's a lot of things that may lead up to that. But generally speaking, that is the process. Now, there are things you can do because it is commission sales to listen to thought leaders in that space. And Tony Robbins is one, Brenda Burchard. There's plenty of podcasts and trainings available. But the challenge, I don't think the challenge for a lot of people, the challenge isn't the fact that they need a break from the job grind or that sort of thing. It's that they're participating in methods that are ineffective. Truthfully, if we were to gauge or track your time on a daily basis, in fact, I did this a few weeks ago. I don't do it very often, but occasionally I'll just sit down and I'll record in my calendar every, 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour. What did I do that hour? What are the exact things I did that hour? And I was shocked at how much time I was spending reading, responding to email, looking at job postings online or profiles on LinkedIn. All these things that appear to be activity, but weren't generating results. And I'm not saying that to disparage anyone or to call anyone out, because I've done them too. Okay. But I think you would be shocked to see how much time are you actually spending in what is called productive search. And that to me would be interviewing people, informational interviews, right? Interviewing with companies, talking to hiring managers, scheduling networking appointments. I know it's a grind, but I can assure you, you would be surprised how little time you may be spending in that space. Knowing that it is the top way, 70, 85% of opportunities are found in that space. Okay, so but to answer your question more directly, Kevin, I do appreciate thought leaders like Tony Robbins, Brendan Burchard, Zig Ziglar, who's the other guy? Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn. What is the guy's name? Strangest Secret, Earl Nightingale, right? You can get a lot of these things at the library too, by the way, or through things like Audible. Get a free Audible membership and get some of these things. I think some of these are also broadcast or recorded or distributed through YouTube. And I think you can download, in some cases, just a YouTube audio. I know there's ways to do that. There's tools out there to do that. What is it called? The one I have is called, let me see. I don't see it in here. I think it's called 4K video downloader. Okay. 4K video downloader. And you could go to YouTube, grab a link off of a video and just parse out the audio. It's a free tool. And most YouTube videos are free unless they're a private link or, one of those unlisted videos. Those don't get downloaded, but any public video you can download audio. So good. Shannon, thank you for the question. Someone advised to make one update to your LinkedIn page each week. She said it keeps your page more active and will help you rank higher for search. What would you recommend? Absolutely. Absolutely. However, I would track it. So there's really three sections I would update regularly. The first one is any images you have. Now, I'm not saying regularly, but you should certainly audit your images, whether that's your background image or your profile photograph. Make sure that's recent, relevant, interview ready, something that looks professional. And if you have to spend 40, 50, 60, 100 bucks, go to JCPenney or Sears or whoever's out there anymore that does headshots. Find somebody on, I don't know, Yelp, Facebook Marketplace, whatever, and get yourself a professional headshot. So it would be the images. Change those up. Because I think when people see a new person that they didn't see before, a new face, or your name attached to a new image, they're like, wow, look at that. The second place is your headline. Headline is, I've seen from my own personal searches that headline is certainly increased weight in the algorithm, primarily because that's one of the things that's public to everything. It's public to Google. It's public to LinkedIn. It's public to Bing, Yahoo. The whole internet can see your name and your headline. Now, whether or not they see your photo is another question, but generally speaking, your name and your headline follow you everywhere. So change up your headline, add a different keyword string. I was doing that for a long time where I was, I'm an advocate of Covey's 7 habits. And so I just put one of the 7 habits, seeking to understand. I'd put that in my headline. So that's something to think about. So that's the first. So the first one is any images. The second one is the headline. And the third one is what was your titles? Your titles under experience. Titles under experience, at least as far as I can tell, are weight to the algorithm. So titles, companies, headline are weight to the algorithm. Others I'm not sure of, right? So stuffing your experience section, your descriptions with keywords and such, I'm not sure. I think that's law of diminishing returns. But generally speaking, you don't have to have just one title in your experience section. There's a whole string. I mean, you have as many spaces there as you do your headline. So put in some keywords in that space. So titles, headline, images. Those are things I would adjust. That's on your profile. Okay. That may take 10 minutes a week, maybe, if you're lucky. I'd also update your about section, but that's another thing to think about entirely, because I think the about section is like your doormat. It's your welcome mat at doormat. I didn't mean doormat. I meant it's your welcome mat to your profile, right? It's an opportunity for people to say, hey, here's what this person's all about. It's the only place typically on your profile you get to freestyle and share the real you, if you know what I mean, as well as follow that up with some things like the featured section. You could write articles and post them there. So yeah, I mean, adjusting your profile once a week is a good idea. Now, once a day, I would be posting things. I would be liking things. I would be sharing things. I'd be writing articles, that sort of thing. So maybe 20, 30 minutes a day at the most, I would be in there interacting with my notifications, wishing people happy birthday, a work anniversary, somebody got a new job, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm focused on. I would focus on those kind of things. Okay. Yeah, and I don't know that it's so much the images that get people to click on it, but certainly I have had candidates where I looked at their profile and it said like some obscure abbreviation, like FA for financial analyst, or Fin Anal, right? It was an abbreviated job title at a company. So as soon as they changed their headline and put in a title and some keywords, they popped up on all these recruiters' searches for an open requisition at their company. Okay. So I know for a fact that headline is got increased weight in the algorithm. And my secondarily intuitive is the titles of prior companies. So that means that that's weighted to the algorithm, and I put a title and a bunch of keywords on that too that describe the work that I did there. Okay. Good. Let's see. Derek Gould, if anyone is willing to provide feedback on my LinkedIn profile, I'd appreciate it. Thanks in advance. Derek, thank you. This is a community. So I would suggest that you offer the same as well. This is a give and a take. So if you can partner with somebody, maybe you exchange ideas, thoughts about other people's profiles, and you get with Kevin or Shannon or somebody else here in today's session, and you guys exchange feedback on your profiles. And maybe we do a round robin that way, you know, where you start with one person and go to another, that sort of thing. Good. Any other questions out there? Happy to answer. Funny, on the LinkedIn headshot, I'll see someone I know and think that photo's from 10 years ago. Yeah. My photo's, what, 3, 4 years old, maybe? I mean, I should probably get a professional headshot too. So I'm not saying that I'm perfect or without fault. If I was, I wouldn't be here every Friday. If you know what I mean, I would be on a beach in Maui sipping Mai Tais. Good. Any questions? Put those in the chat. Keep them coming. We're getting a good rhythm, a good cadence here. If you want to come on live, you can do that, whether it's Derek or Kevin or Shannon or anybody. There's a link in the description. If you go up to the top right there on LinkedIn and click on see more in the description, you'll see a link there that'll allow you to come on live. Ask me any questions you like. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here, is to support your success. That's it. All I ask is that you share this out to your networks. Spread the word about Career Happy Hour every Friday, 3 o'clock Pacific time. I've made a commitment to you to be here. And as soon as there's nobody showing up, I'll stop doing it. So as long as you show up, I'll keep doing it. If not, I'll stop doing it. I'll go do something else. I got plenty of things to do at 3 o'clock on a Friday, if you know what I mean. And so if you don't see value in this session, then tell me what would be valuable to you. There we go. That's the question. What would be valuable to you? Anybody? Let me know in the chat, or you can click the link to join for live coaching. Okay. Good. So let me see. Let me get back over here to the chat. Let me get down to that spot. It's not letting me click on that. That's weird. All right. Let me go over here. I'll go back. Sorry, I'm doing some things here because Derek asked for a review of his profile. And, you know, as much as I like to have the chat on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and look at Mr. Derek's profile. And maybe we could walk through this together and I'll learn something. Okay. Good. So I'm going to share screen, and I'm hoping this is going to work here. Share screen. I want that one. Share. Good. And now I'm hoping this will work. There we go. I wonder, could I go down here instead? There we go. How about that? We have liftoff. Okay, Derek. Nice picture, by the way. It looks a little shiny, though. You might. There are some filters on LinkedIn. When you click on this image, take a little shine off of there. Maybe touch up those different sections. That's what I'd advocate. But otherwise, good picture. Very professional. You're looking at the camera. You have a very natural smile. Authentic. It looks good. 10 out of 10 on that one. Just minor adjustments. Now, the background image is something that indicates something about your brand. Okay. So one light on, a bunch of lights off. Does that mean you're not running on all cylinders? What does it mean? What are you trying to say there? So sometimes it's okay to use a tool like Canva, and that's Canva, to put some words over the top so that people can make a connection with your brand, whatever that is, right? Turning on the light for marketing, or approaching new ideas from a different perspective, or lighting up your marketing budgets, something of that nature. A byline, a slogan, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Good. Now I'm not going to hit contact info, but certainly somebody in marketing, a senior level marketing professional, you know, you ought to have 10x that number of connections. Okay. That's what I'd advocate. I'd work toward 4,000, literally. I'd be connecting with anybody who says yes. All right. I'm not going to click contact info until we click off of this, but generally speaking, you need to make yourself accessible to people here on the platform, especially ones that want to hire you. Okay. Good. About section. Let me see here. I'm not a big fan of big blocks of text like this, just like your resume. I'm okay with first person. I want to know I want to know Derek. I don't want to know your resume. I can read your resume. I don't want to know your resume. I want to know your brand. What are you about? What are you into? What are your key skills? You've got that. Here's some specialties. That's good. But I would like to see more white space, more use of the first person, drawing people into a conversation. You might even start this. What would it be like to turn on the light for your marketing plan, right? Or turn on your light for your marketing dollars, right? Whatever that is. So there's something here certainly that would allow you to do that. I like your specialties. You might also have some highlighted accomplishments. Maybe what else could you put here? Oh, you could put testimonials, right? If you've got any recommendations at all down at the bottom of your profile, you could add some recommendations here. Don't copy and paste the whole thing, but just a little snippet that said, yeah, Derek's an exceptional marketing professional who gives value to every dollar spent. Great. And then put the person's name in their title. Hopefully that was like a VP of marketing or a CMO, right? Chief Marketing Officer. Okay. What I don't see here is the, you don't have a featured section. A marketing guy ought to have a portfolio, I would think. And if I'm a marketing guy, I'm going to share some of my marketing portfolio in the featured section. If you don't know where that is, there's up at the top of your profile, a add profile section button, and just look under featured activity. It's good that you have activity. Hopefully it's activity that you have posted. If you have not posted an article, shame on you. I'm not going to hold you accountable that way or call you out, but certainly articles are an opportunity for you to share your expertise in a long form post. Posts are just posts. So I can see, although you have 400 connections and you're liking things and sharing things, you're not creating things. So that's the difference. If I was a creative person in marketing, wouldn't I want to see some creation? I would, as a marketing professional or a marketing leader or someone that's looking to hire a marketing person like you, I'd want to see that. Okay. Okay. So you can see here exactly what I talked about with the headline and the titles when we're updating titles and so forth. Absolutely. Right. Put more things here. Now, you may want to avoid the word senior. You may say leader or, so too many times you say senior, people think you're old. So be cautious with that. Every time I see senior, I'm seeing it all over here. Is you're activating a bias mechanism that may not be true and may not be real. So just make sure that you say marketing leader, marketing management leader, product marketing leader, product marketing executive, if you want to use those terms. Okay. So yes, I appreciate this, but I'm not getting much brand. What do you bring to this space? So I want to see some branding here, not just a list of keywords. Not that it's wrong. You just may want to switch that up a little bit. Okay. Now, I think you may notice the first role and experience has 8 lines by default, and the second has 4. That means we need to have this bullet be spot on, like super value, high results. I'm not seeing many results here, and I'm going to be forced to see more to actually read the rest of it. And I don't see any numbers here either or results. I'd want to see some results where you did a marketing campaign, you got X% increase in reach, that you had increases in sales, demand generation of X number of new leads, that sort of thing. Okay. I like how you broke out each role separately. But the bias you're going to face, and that, there's no way, I guess, around that, is that you spent 14 years at one company and you're not going to know another one. So be prepared for those questions to come up later on during interviews and such. So Marcom, RFP writer, product marketer, senior product marketer. Good. All right. Yeah. So I'd want to see progression in career, and I've seen that from you. Thank you. Now there's a section missing here called certifications and licenses. If you're in financial services, my suspicion is you probably have some certs or some licenses, series whatevers. I'll call them that. I think I saw FINRA up here, FINRA and SEC, right? If I have some regulatory certifications or some kind of license, I would be putting that down here. Okay. Invesco Care New York, local chapter. Okay. So I like volunteer experience. You might want to make it something that is got a logo next to it because it doesn't offer any legitimacy. And on top of that, you may want to offer something here that you're doing now. That could be Habitat. It could be the food bank. It could be just about anything. But having a current experience, volunteer experience, is going to offer them, hey, he's not just sitting on his hands or waiting for an opportunity. He's actually out volunteering. That, to me, sounds attractive. Now, skills and endorsements, things to think about here is these are the 3 skills you're saying that you want to be known for. If they're not, traditionally speaking, you would see by largest number of endorsements comes first and then in descending order. Okay. Now, as I see more, I can see you have a good number of skills. So that's good. Skills section, I would say, well done. Of course, you could always get some endorsements there. Okay. You don't have any recommendations. I'd invest some time trying to get people to recommend you. In fact, the only thing you control is you giving of recommendations. So I might set myself a goal to write, I don't know, maybe I could write 2 recommendations a week for other people. That sort of thing. Let's see about interests. You also don't have accomplishments on here. So the only reason I point that out is there is a section here where you can document things like, I don't know, if you got any published works or patents, or if you've done any projects or had awards, that sort of thing. It shows as a separate section here. So let's look at interests. Companies. Let's see how many you got. 5, 10, 15 companies. It's enough. I would actually encourage you to follow at least 40. So look at all your companies like Bank of America and who are the other companies that listed on their company page. Okay. I also see you're not in any groups. I would join 40 groups. I would participate actively in 2 or 3 at the most. So that's something I would advocate you do right there. Outside of that, I will stop my share, turn off my share. Hopefully I'll come back and then I'll take a peek at your contact info, because I don't want to make that available to people. Okay, so I do see an email, which is good. You have a customized LinkedIn address. That's good. I would also maybe, if you have a Gmail, one thing I would advocate is make sure that the email you're using isn't the same one you use for your brokerage accounts or your banking apps and so forth. Have a separate email for those and a separate email for your search. But one of the nice features that you get with Gmail is what's called Google Voice. And Google Voice will allow you to have your own phone number, and it's free. Yeah, it's free. And so just know that because it's free, you certainly are opening yourself up to the Google ecosystem, and whatever voice, conversations are recorded there on the voicemail and so forth. That will give you a layer of privacy and separation from people looking to leverage your cell phone number. So anyway, that's that. Any other questions out there? Hopefully you found that of use, Derek. Let's see. Need to get into your My Network. You go 13 people reaching out to you. I don't know. Do I? 13 people? Oh yeah, I guess I do. Yeah. Anyway. Happens all the time. Shame on me. Yeah, you know what, Derek? Don't take it too hard, buddy. All of us started somewhere, and just know that there's only one way to go, and that's up. Good job. Good. So Kevin's got an observation here: possibly taking one visitor's profile each week and critique, and not mine this week. Thank you. Yeah, you're quick to volunteer other people to do that. Good job. Let me see here. Will add, good. Should you? Okay. Question here. Should you speak with the person prior to giving a recommendation, as he or she might want something mentioned specific? No, what I would do is I would mention in there, maybe send them a message offline after you've sent it. And just, so send the recommendation without solicitation, and then send a separate message that says, hey, I sent you a recommendation. And if you want me to adjust anything, please let me know. That's how I'd handle that. So good questions. Oh, looks like we got Craig in here. Craig, are you sure you want to come on live? I mean, this is high stakes, my friend. So hopefully you're prepared for that. So I'll get rid of these. I'll get rid of the chat overlay and see if we can bring good old Craig in here. Craig, are you there?
I am here. Good old Craig. I don't know. Let's not put me in the senior category now.
Well, it's better to have hair than I always said it's better to have gray hair than no hair. So good on you.
I got a lot of gray hair, so we're doing good in the hair department. So hello to all on today's Career Happy Hour. Hello, Andrew, Terry, and Derek.
Yes.
Bezos is stepping down. Hopefully the stock will continue to go up for all of us who may have stock in Amazon.
Yeah.
You mentioned something earlier which kind of sparked up an old memory. Early in my career, I too would get up very early. I went to a contractor's warehouse. I'm in the technology business and telecommunications. And we'd set up a table to show contractors the latest cell phone technology, which at that time, if you can remember, the second generation of Motorola phone, it was called an Ultra Classic. It looked like a walkie-talkie, basically.
Yeah.
I would do that at 5 o'clock in the morning. It kind of reminded me that as you accelerate in your career, you kind of become complacent in saying, well, I don't want to do those things anymore because I've already done them. And so I think now that we're in this market of COVID, trying to find our next career, visiting the skill set that got us to where we were, and maybe rehoning some of those skills to make us more viable in the workplace. The more skills you have, the more viable of a potential employee you could be. So that kind of sparked some interest in going back in my career. You did mention something about someone being in a career for a long time. I've been with the same organization for 27 years. I think Andrew was there for 14 years. You mentioned a question that could come up in an interview, and I wasn't quite clear of what that was.
Well, it's not even a question. It's a perception or a bias. Okay. Oh, you work that long at this company, you don't know us. Or you won't bring a fresh perspective, you'll be too stale in your ways. Or you don't have diversity of experience, right? There's a bias that comes with having a long tenure at one company. Now, however you define long tenure is up to you. But if your presence on LinkedIn or on your resume does not reflect the diversity of your experiences, then people are going to come into an interview with that perception, which means it's not bad. You just need to adjust their perception at the front end of the interview, so that you don't go through the whole interview with them having this in the back of their mind, and you get to the end and you make a point about, oh, I've got a diversity of experience. Well, it's too late, right?
That's a good point. I think I've done a pretty good job of explaining in my resume and on my LinkedIn profile that I have a very diverse experience within my industry, anywhere from local, federal government, small, medium, large enterprise and global accounts, and a variety of industries from technology to manufacturing. So my experience with other corporations is quite vast. I've been viewing that perspective from my own company, but I've engaged with, there's very few companies I haven't engaged with in my career. So I think I have a good talk track for that, to make sure that is not a perception, that I'm kind of fixed into one viewpoint. So that's good. That's good to know.
Right. Well, yeah, based on the relevancy to the person and the position in the company, right? You're not just, so the challenge you have with a presence like that on LinkedIn is that you're now being all things to all people. Oh, I've done everything from tech to manufacturing, from this to that.
Yeah.
Global to regional to the local to, so if you're trying to fit all the boxes on the board, you know what I mean, on the chessboard with the piece of your own, then they're not going to see a differentiation.
Got it.
So I really advocate. So that's the danger. I'm not saying that's happening to you, but if you're not known as something to somebody, then you're trying to be all things to all people. Then it's white noise.
I just want everyone to like me. Come on.
Everybody does like you, Craig. You also want people to hire you. So
that's true. That's the most important part.
This is where I give you a little, a little tough love and say, hey, what do you really want to be known for? Yeah. And it's not this huge volume of experience, although that's perfectly valid to you and relevant to your own experience, but it may not be relevant to the marketplace.
Right. No,
and they may just be hearing white noise.
Right.
That's all.
Right. Okay.
Anything else?
Question. Yeah. Well, I think you may have mentioned, or it might have been Terry, Is there a link to find reputable, I guess, or high quality recruiting companies or recruiters that specialize in a particular skill set or industry?
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You know, as good as some of those services are to identify and catalog, they're only as good and current as the data and the people putting it in and verifying whether it's current or not. And what I found is I've been able to find every one of those companies just through a LinkedIn search.
Okay.
Okay. So if I was looking for recruiters, I would probably type in, if you're looking for contract work or staff augmentation, what are you really looking for?
No, I mean, I have had some recruiters contact me about contract work, but
Okay.
that's typically not anything I've experienced before. So I'm not looking for that, but I'm open to it.
Okay. So I would say yes, whenever possible, and say no when you get the offer if it doesn't meet your needs. That'd be my first piece of advice. Second piece of advice is if you're looking for executive level positions or something higher up in the organization, you need to be looking for retained search firms. Okay. Retained search is something that's unique, is very common in the recruitment industry. And if you search for those keyword strings, you will find people in, say, telecom retained search. In fact, I could probably just do a quick search here on a retained search and telecommunications, right? And so when I type that into LinkedIn, which is a pretty specific search string, I get a list of people, right? And so when I filter by people, how many does that give me? 1,100 people with the keyword retained search and telecom.
Okay.
So, and I put retained search in quotation marks as a phrase. Some call it executive search, right? So I'm seeing that listed here. So you could find people in executive search. I think that's probably a keyword, executive search on LinkedIn. Yeah, it is. So people in executive search and then filter by telecommunications.
Excellent. Always good information. Thank you very much, Andrew. Have a great
and then you might narrow that maybe by a brand, right? A big name in telecom or what have you, and see who trickles to the top, if you know what I mean.
I'm adding what have you to my notes.
What's that?
I added the term what have you to my notes.
Okay. Nice.
All right. Well, thank you for your help. I appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure. Take care. Stay safe. Be well. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. All those things. We'll get through this. Okay. Bye now. Craig, everybody. Connect with Craig. Let's see. Holy cow. Derek put in a big comment there. Good. Thank you, Terry, for that affirmation. Chase your passions. Okay, so let's I'll have to sit up a little higher though, because well, I won't be able to read it. I'll just read it. What is the thought about virtual remote working as a long-term model, the new norm, particularly within the financial services industry? For example, working for an NYC-based company but living elsewhere in Iowa and North Dakota. If you don't think that's already happening, you'd be shocked. I know plenty of people that have jobs here in Oregon that are supposed to be here in Oregon but are not. They're in Montana. They're in New York. They're in Florida. They're places outside of Oregon. Let's just put it that way. And they're still working for an Oregon-based company. Why? Because they're work from home. They don't have to know where you're at as long as you're delivering service or delivering on your requirements. Okay. The other side of that is some of this will be become, and everything goes in, how would you say it, cycles or phases, because work from home or remote work was something that really came in the 90s. And they tried that people got rid of real estate and offices and everybody was working from home. And what they found was there was no community. And so I don't believe personally that work from home is a long-term strategy or even an enterprise quality that people would lean into. Now, should you have flexible work arrangements? Yes. I also understand the value of me personally of being able to come to an office and see my colleagues. I really appreciate that component. And there's some texture lost when you're on a Zoom or a video chat or a phone call. You don't get the same feeling, the same zinger, if you will, or burst blast of oxytocin that you would if you were in an office with a person. Anyhow, the draw being making top dollars from a major metro-based company is personally based in a lower cost of living location. Well, you also have to recognize that if they're not paying for you to be there, they themselves are also not paying to have real estate. So they're saving money too. So I don't know that there's any win-lose in that situation. I'm just suggesting that long term, there's more to this than just dollars and cents. Although it'll initially be driven by the pandemic and then dollars and cents, I think you will see a world change in commercial real estate, specifically Class A office. And so keep your eye on that. I'm not sure what's going to happen to Class A office. My suspicion is, and I've seen this from a lot of other sources, is that Airbnb will get into that mix and start offering sublets or some kind of service to people looking to put out their Class A office. I think the better question is, what is it you prefer, and how do you want to make that work? And don't be constricted by geography. I would assume everybody's hiring, and everybody's got room for you as a remote worker. Why? Because everybody at their company currently is working remotely. So if we make that assumption, that's not a big chasm to cross when you get to the interview. So let's see. Kevin asks, is it okay to not accept someone's LinkedIn connection request when you, one, do not know them, or two, believe their LinkedIn profile has no relevancy to me? Yeah, it's okay. Now, the other part of that, though, Kevin, is I'm going to err on the side of yes. When I err on the side of yes, I can always remove that connection if they don't live up to, my standards or my whatevers. I can unfollow them and stay connected. It's not much different in that way than Facebook. But maybe I should, I'm going to share my screen again here, and hopefully you all will be able to see this. I'm going to try this with the chat open and see what happens. I don't work out so well. Anyway, let's see how this works. Okay, good. It does allow the chat to stay up there. Okay, so I'm going to go into, just to make this easy, and maybe, oops, sorry. I'm trying to make that full screen. There we go. I'll make it a little bigger because it's a smaller screen. But I'm going to go in and I'm actually going to look at my network, and I'm going to go through and tell you who I'd accept and who I wouldn't. Okay. First of all, I always advocate you have a private personalized message for every request. So here I can see someone took the time to write a personalized request. I appreciate that. I'm going to read it. I'm going to make a decision based on what I see here. Good. I'm seeing good things here. I'm just going to click accept. I can always go back and remove that connection. Okay. You did a great job with LinkedIn session, whatever today. So part of my associations, somebody attended one of my webinars. That's great. I'll accept that one. I appreciate that. Okay. Customer success manager. Now I have a question mark. Should I or should I not accept? I don't know this person. So I'm going to wait on that one and look at her profile. Okay. Copy consultant for webinar sales presentations. Thanks for connecting out as your journey together. How's your 21? Okay. So I know what she's doing. She's selling me. I don't have a problem with that. So I'm going to look at her profile too before I say yes. Does that make sense? So each one of us has to come in with a open mind and think that people are genuinely good, and they're a conduit to a bunch of people I don't know. So if someone took the time to reach out to me to connect, and I say yes, and we schedule an informational interview, and we have a conversation, and I find out that their cousin is the CEO of a major corporation I'd love to work for, and they're going to have a President's Day brunch on Sunday, what do you think I might be doing? Jumping up and down like crazy, okay? So now I see area manager and big box manager excelling, so that's a question mark. I'm going to look at that profile before I decide, okay? I work in the business of publicizing online video that features your business. They're trying to sell me something. I'm not interested. Let's see. Marketing and sales. Thank you for the LinkedIn webinar. Accept. So anybody that comes to me through the webinars, I'll accept their request. Especially sales with experience. I don't know. I don't know. LinkedIn training. Okay, I'll accept. That person needs help. They don't even have an image. Right. So I'm just going through some of these and showing you how I would make these decisions. Okay. And so until I can see these people's profiles, I'm not going to accept the rest of those. Okay. I'll go look at their profiles. I'll make an assessment on whether or not they fit my needs or not. And then I'll say yes. Now, if it comes down to the fact that I go to my home feed and I'm seeing a lot of nonsense posted by them or that sort of thing, then I can just click the 3 dots at the top of the post and I can unfollow that person. So I can stay connected, but I don't have to follow their posts. Okay. That's the first thing. The second thing is if they're going full court press on me in the direct messages and they're trying to, coerce me, if you will, or do the hard sell in the direct messages, then I'll just remove them as a connection. I won't block them. I don't think that's right personally, unless it's abusive or someone's coming at you personally, or you have a restraining order, or it seems criminal. I'm not blocking people. I know people who have done that, and I don't think it's right, but that's me. Okay. Good. Kevin Riley, my 2 cents worth of it is yes, it's okay for a lot of reasons. Good. It's okay not to accept. And there were several there that I didn't accept. So just keep that in mind. Have a set of standards for yourself, whatever that is. And sometimes live up to those standards. Now, if you're like me and you're like 10,000 connections, you're a little more, how would you say, picky in the people you say yes to. And I'm not saying picky because I'm trying to be elitist or arrogant, but I'm saying, you know what? I'm just not going to respond to people who live out of the country, that don't have a photo, who have 22 connections, and they have nothing on their profile. I don't think that's not something I want to be connected to or even worry about. So today is career happy hour. We've been here an hour. Okay. If you got some value out of this, could you please share it out with people? If you have questions, put them in the chat. I'm happy to answer. I love this community. If you want somebody to connect with you and have a conversation, please, by all means, connect with each other. You see the people in the chat, you see the names, you can see their profiles. Just go out and connect with them and have a conversation. I think you will be surprised at what you find. Okay. I don't see any other questions here. I do appreciate you guys coming. I do. I really, really do. And I hope you have a great weekend. Stay safe. Do some networking on Monday. It's one of those obscure holidays. I'm really encouraging you. Fish when the fish are running. Okay. Fish when the fish are running. What does that mean? Well, if spring Chinook are coming through a canal on the Multnomah Channel during March 3rd, and I know there's going to be 40,000 fish come through that channel, when am I going to be fishing? On that day when there's 40,000 fish coming through the channel. Okay. Same is true on Monday. It's President's Day. It's a great day to honor our presidents. I get all those things. And yet it's also a good day for us to think about networking with people who are maybe not at work, but at home, who will respond to a LinkedIn message. Why? Because they don't have anything else to do. Honestly, I'm saying that in an affectionately good way. So good. You're welcomed, Derek. I'm glad to be of service. Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next Career Happy Hour. Be well. Stay safe.